What's going on, guys? Trooper Talks back at it again. Today, we're going to be giving our thoughts on episode 9 of The Bad Batch, specifically with Ventress and just everything we liked about her appearance and any controversial thoughts we might have. But, just to kick it off, this is the first time we've seen Ventress in a little over 10 years. The last time we saw her was in season 5 of the Clone Wars. And after that arc, we don't really know what happened to her. We know that she had a little conflict with Dooku, and then she kind of just went off and did her own thing. So, it was really cool to see her for the first time in this episode. Obviously, she doesn't appear to be a Sith anymore, as seen with her yellow lightsabers. Given the fact that she's also not working for the Empire nor the Republic, she kind of seems like she's on her own. So there are a lot of different directions the story could really go. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to see just how she really plays into the Bad Batch and how she's going to be involved in the story as the season goes on. But yeah, what were your initial thoughts on her return?
Yeah, I really find her presence intriguing in the story. It adds an interesting element. We did predict earlier that Ventress might not be on the dark side anymore and could potentially help the Bad Batch. Although we speculated Ahsoka might join with her, that hasn't happened yet. Ventress's interaction with Omega stood out, especially her mention of never meeting a Force-sensitive clone. It raises questions about Omega's uniqueness, given the Empire's interest in her high count. It's puzzling, considering she's a clone, but her differences like being female add to the mystery. I wonder if her abilities are a result of some genetic anomaly or if there's more to her origin story that we haven't uncovered yet. Perhaps there's a hidden connection to a larger Force-related phenomenon that's yet to be revealed. Either way, it's a compelling subplot that leaves me eager to learn more as the series unfolds.
Yeah, for sure. Picking up on the Omega thing, I think there are a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to Omega and the M count and all that. Honestly, I don't think there were any intentions at all about making clones Force sensitive when they were first introduced. Like you said, they're all supposed to be the same replica of Jango Fett, the exact same person. So why would there be any different clones? Obviously, we have the Bad Batch, who are all different clones, and they're all unique in their own ways. But honestly, I think this is a fair exception because when you're making anything, you're bound to have some mistakes, some off creations, or whatever you want to call it. And I think the Bad Batch is a pretty reasonable example, just with their enhanced skill set. However, I think the whole midichlorian thing, I think that's something that's just been recently introduced, especially with the whole Ahsoka show, talking about how Sabine is Force sensitive. I think Disney or whoever's in charge of the writing is trying to say that, everyone can be Force sensitive. But I know there is a little bit of controversy on this topic saying that everyone has it in them, but I think they're kind of just milking it out in a way now. They're taking it to the clones and suggesting they could be Force sensitive. I mean, it just makes me wonder, what's coming next? Can anyone really be Force sensitive? And I think with this, they're obviously trying to tie it back to Palpatine and explain his whole cloning in the sequels and stuff. I know George Lucas said something along the lines of anyone can be Force sensitives, but I feel like Disney is taking it to the extreme at times. I don't think this is something that Star Wars was originally intended for, or at least to this extent with the clones. It's interesting to see, but I'm not the biggest fan of it just because I feel like the only reason they are making it possible for clones to be Force sensitive is so that they can make Palpatine's return in the sequels make sense.
Yeah, that's another puzzling aspect. Having a high midichlorian count raises questions about Omega's origin. As a clone, one would expect her share genetic traits with Jango Fett, yet her high count suggests otherwise. It's a significant deviation from the norm, especially considering the rarity of Force-sensitive individuals. While it's possible that her unique abilities make her valuable to the Empire, it's unclear why they specifically target her. With the Empire's vast resources, one would assume they could find others with similar potential. The mystery surrounding Omega deepens as we ponder the Empire's true motives and Omega's true significance in the cloning project.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Omega's significance definitely ties into the whole cloning thing with Palpatine and just how using her DNA as a clone can help replicate Palpatine, because obviously in the sequels with replicating Palpatine, they obviously need to replicate his Force abilities or his midichlorian count, so it's not fully explained. But I think it definitely has to do with that. With Omega's journey, we see Ventress trying to really see if she's really Force sensitive or not. Honestly, I think Ventress is definitely hiding something. I feel like she definitely sees something or has very tiny doubts that Omega does have something special about her, because obviously the Empire's after her. They wouldn't be trying to get her this badly if she wasn't valuable in any way, and Ventress is a pretty smart person. So I think she definitely sees into that. Obviously, we just saw her in episode 9 of The Bad Batch, and I don't think this will be the last time we see her. I believe we have 6 episodes left. We may not see her for a couple episodes, but I think she'll definitely end up returning towards the end of the season for maybe 2 or 3 more episodes. I think that'd be very cool. I'm just looking forward to how she really plays into the story other than just helping Omega find out who she truly is. I know we've said it a lot before in our past videos, but I think if she had a confrontation with Vader where she finds out somehow that he's Anakin, I think that would be one of the craziest stories that they could tell, especially if they have an epic fight. And then maybe Vader ends up killing Ventress to really end her arc, which she can, I don't know, maybe sacrifice herself to save some of the Bad Batch or what's left of the Republic. I think there's a lot of opportunity for good storytelling there. And yeah, that's just the main thing I'm really looking forward to with Ventress's return. Just seeing what potential she really has for this story.
Yeah, those are some interesting ideas. However, I think it would be disappointing if Omega's Force sensitivity were to lead to a rushed and cliche resolution in the series finale. Disney has often taken shortcuts with Force abilities, disregarding the need for proper training and development, which undermines the complexity of the Force itself. It's essential to maintain consistency in portraying the intricacies of Force usage, as it's supposed to require years of dedicated training and discipline. Regarding Ventress, her return adds significant depth to the narrative, seeing how she has evolved and no longer serves the Empire but recognizes it for the corrupt entity. It emphasizes the Empire's exploitation of individuals like her during the Clone Wars. Elvie adds a reminder of the Empire's manipulation and betrayal of those who once fought for it. Overall, while this episode was engaging, I'm a little concerned about Omega's potential storyline. It's crucial for the writers to handle her Force sensitivity with care and not succumb to the temptation of an easy or predictable resolution. Maintaining narrative integrity will ensure a satisfying and meaningful conclusion to Omega's arc.
And I'm just really looking forward to seeing how this story plays out with Omega and Ventress, picking up on what you said about Omega maybe being able to use her abilities to save the day and stuff like that. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope this doesn't become like another Sabine situation in Ahsoka where she doesn't know how to use the Force the entire season. Then in the last episode, all of a sudden she's just a master at the Force, able to do all these crazy things. If they do it for Omega, I just hope they actually put some decent writing into it and make it make sense rather than just throwing it out there in the air and making a big shock for the audience. Honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, at least I don't think it's going to be done with poor writing. Because generally, the animated shows, like I've said before, have better writing, have better stories. So I'm going to give them a little bit more credit just with how this story is going to end. But yeah, with all that said, I think there's a lot of potential for the end of the Bad Batch. I think we've had a pretty solid few seasons so far, pretty solid few episodes in season 3. And yeah, overall, there's just a lot of potential. And I'm excited to see how this series really ends. If you guys liked our thoughts on the video and you want to hear more about what we have to say for future Star Wars projects, consider subscribing, leave a like down below. It helps out the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time in our next video. Stay tuned.